We'll see if it works out for them. They're starting on that CT side to get us underway into Katowice groups.
Every time I commentate a match with Nico in, he does great things with Desert Eagles. So let's see if that happens later today. But there'll be no Deagles in this pistol round. He's got a P250 though, and a lot of utility as well. Have a look at this burst from G2. How good will it go? How far will it go? Well, they'll make it into the bomb site with 2 frags and a bomb lance just around the corner. Looks like there'll be 2 players flanking towards Dark for Big. 3 versus 4 retake attempt. Crimbo has a defuse kit, 2 flashes as well, but there are many G2 players to find. See JKS now. Oh, that was... Oh, Tabs is going to rue that one. That leaves Crimbo in a 1 versus 4. Disaster early for Big on this retake attempt. Takes one in the face, and he might just go to save his...
Don't give him the ace.
Kit at this point. I don't know.
Oh, he gives him the ace.
Nasty. JKS with all 5 in the pistol round. Well, that's a great way to start things off.
Look at a smile on his face already. G2 looking very relaxed coming into this one. And with good reason. G2's recent form, as pointed out by the desk, has been incredible. 7 series wins, and they only lost 1 map in any of those recent series. So many 2-0s for this team. And I'm really glad to see it. I think this G2 squad have really found their own, found their footing. It's not an easy opening game for Big, but they themselves did pretty damn well in the play-in. Only lost 1 map against Furia, making it to this point. The G2 definitely solid favorites here. A team that you would be expecting to make it to playoffs. Oh, there's a stack round the corner. Big always with a trick up their sleeve. It's making this round a little interesting. Hooksy trying to clean up. It's back to a 1v1.
Tabson's got a bomb and a rifle. JKS is in a horrible position, but if you use that HE, it could all end early. Well, this is awkward indeed. Very awkward. JKS was on the shelf for such a long time, it felt like, considering his prowess as an individual. Saw glimpses of that in that pistol round. Definitely came into this one firing on all cylinders. Tabson will use the sound cue, but JKS is aware. Oh, I think he may have been seen by Tabson. Indeed, I'm pretty sure he has been.
Does Tabson flank or just try and hold the gap? I think he has to go for the flank.
Will the timing work out? I think it might do. Oh, JKS, the timing! He turns around. The 6th sense just in time. Wow. That was a very nervous indeed. I think that's the last time they don't Molotov that position.
Yeah, I love that Big have something planned for this round. I didn't expect them to be able to run down these players so soon, and especially once these fights come through at range. That's when I thought we might see a cleanup from the rifles, but they did really well. And Tabson still got a smile on his face. I mean, when you're on a full USP round and you bring it that close, that's about as happy as you can be in a round loss.
Pure entertainment for Big in that round. Makes life a little easier on their first buy round here as well. You can see the favoring of the silenced M4s. The Big clan. So the one difference maker. Got to be careful though as he deploys some grenades. Tries to hold on to Dark, but that's not going to happen. Manasi and Tabson will be lost early as G2 are really harassing this bomb site. Bomb needs to be collected though, and they are losing players as they continue to poke and prod. Kizo knows there are 2, but he'll fall to the first one. Hooksy and JKS combining to take the bomb site. Bomb's on the way as well.
Yeah, bomb will take a little bit of time, so Big might have the ability to get in position, maybe wait out these smokes. In fact, the bomb is taking a fair while to get planted. CSM will now investigate. It is being planted on the safe side of the obelisk, though. The double swing about to come through. Well coordinated between JKS and Hooksy. And Crimbo is a player who's normally very good in clutches, but I think this one might be too far gone. He might even get flanked here. Hooksy's pushing around the backside. No easy escape path.
Yeah, not much for Crimbo to do here. Hiding in plain sight, essentially. Maybe waiting for something to come his way after the explosion. But G2 off to the races at the beginning of Anubis. And I think everybody agreed that Big had to try and do something with the map pool. You look at the history between these 2 squads, and they're still trying to find a solution to G2. And perhaps Anubis is it. 3-0 for G2. See what Big choose to do here. 3,000 for most of their players, so this will be an awkward one.
These teams played so recently at Blast. You can understand the decision to switch things up for Big. They lost 2-0, but they had at least a somewhat competitive series against G2. I think Crimbo was trying to stick around to maybe do some damage there, considering G2 lost a lot of casualties against the Eco previously. I think we have a quick tech pause on our hands, so the players won't be able to talk to each other. Good start for G2 though. I think Hooksy has been definitely heavily discussed. He's not a great fragger as an in-game leader, but he's been stepping up a bit recently. And he's also someone who's very happy to go in first, which is always a good sign. If you're not going to frag, at least allow your teammates to trade you.
Just before this game, we were cycling through various Molotov throws as well. But that was a lucky escape for G2. They can learn from it for next time without it causing too much pain. So I think Mirage is one of those maps where Big come closest to besting G2, and that might be seen later as a decider. Searson's definitely a great sniper to watch demos of, especially on Mirage. Got some really nice pop flashes off the wall towards Connector and such, but maybe we'll get there later on. For now, they're looking for their first round on Anubis. The 5-7s will be out, so they're buying some bits and bobs. They've got some smokes. They can try to delay G2 into making some errors, like the early grenades from G2. In case of a funky push fast from Big, they'll have the hero M4 in this round in the hands of Crimbo. Early smoke down from T-Spawn. Keto trying, he's waiting for the reload here to go for a push, or is he? No, chooses to fall back instead. There's action elsewhere around that B-bomb site. Maybe pulling him away.
Solid spray from Hunter towards mid. Looks he's actually alone down towards that sewer position, but will be doing a fine job with his MAC-10. Aggression will work out, but now we'll see if G2 decide to try and pounce on this B-bomb site. They're still playing patiently for now. Plenty of time left on the clock. Oh, Faven, very lucky to be alive there. A single point of health.
Plenty of time for G2, but Crimbo could be instrumental. Slowly making their way towards B, G2, but we do have a look at around that mid position.
Wow, the spawn flank is... It's a nice try, but Monacy's actually watching.
That's the bomb lost for the time being. I don't know if his rotation can be heard by JKS. It looks like it might be the way he's facing with his crosshair.
But now Hunter's big flank in the B site. He's in CT spawn right now.
Now this time is getting kind of weird, but it also depends on Big's rotation. If they make their way towards Dark, then things could be very interesting indeed. And, well, there goes the rifle in the hands of Crimbo. That will change everything. And it looks like the clean sheet will remain for G2. Do not expect much of Faven when he can hold on to his Kevlar. But he might try and fish for something anyway. A rifle, perhaps. I don't see him surviving that bomb blast if he's close, though. So, again, this was a half buy for Big. Managed to get 2 kills from it. And now comes their full buy.
I think you can see why Big have gone for Anubis as an attempted switch up in this series. You can see some of these low buys already getting a little wild. And that's really what Big need to make happen in this series. Make G2 uncomfortable with some of these awkward flanks and extremities of the map. That's looking good with his shades.
It's always the guy with the moustache, isn't it? That massive moustache. Gonna have nightmares about that. Let's see how this one is different then. Not sure if it was G2 or Big who threw a smoke there early in the round prior. Nothing doing on this occasion though. Many a grenade can be thrown from where JKS is. Of course, he can keep the CTs honest as well. Can molly the CT side of mid from there. Well, both teams holding on to a lot of their utility at present. So this may be a late round. Some double peeks coming in from Hooksy and Nico. Faven needs to be very, very careful indeed. Oh, Kito's back showing as well. Might not be the sharpest Anubis just yet. but Faven will get the initial kill. Here comes the swing now. Needs help from his teammate. There it is. The trade might be enough. Hunter's not making his way in just yet, but he has taken down Tabson.
They've also got JKS coming in from below. It's going to make it awkward, but Faven isolates another fight. Now G2 need to find their way in, finally finding that opener. A smoke drop should allow that bomb plant to be attempted. And there's no nades for Big, but they're still going to try and push the site.
Great flick from Searson, makes it a 2 versus 1. Hunter needs headshots. He is solo in the smoke, and Crimbo will find him first. Big find their first round on the board.
Tabson just making sure that they remain calm. These rounds are a little chaotic right now, but I think Big are happy with how that one played out. The initial B hold looked like it could have been dicey, but I think Faven did a solid job at being able to isolate a couple of those fights. You can see that Keto seems to be the initial man taking contact, and I think Faven will be set up as the star rifler on that site. And that's what Big need from Faven. That's what he's really been brought into the team to be. They want him to turn into a star player, so nice to see some impact from him. As for G2, they still have plenty of money for the buy in this one. They've had a pretty good start on their T side. Even that round was clearly competitive.
I think G2 saw a lot of opportunity towards the B bomb site with the angles that were being held by the CTs, how they were rotating around. They were showing a lot of skin.
It's so cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see G2 head there later on.
Double nades chucked onto m0NESY there. A common position for the AWP to hold down towards Canals, and they just bombarded him. He's down to 5 health without seeing anyone. Searson's definitely an AWPer who's willing to play alone. We're going to see that here. Alone at mid. Gets the opener, but he's trapped by the flames.
Oh, he's missed a second flick. He had another 1v1, but won't win it. Hoopsie just jumping in for the cause. Now Tabson, things will get awkward for him, and soon that smoke will be gone. How do Big respond? This control is getting somewhat uncomfortable now. Things are starting to move pretty quick. Nico won't spot a second one just yet, but he can pull his gun out just in time, or can he? Tabson and Crimbo will collect the bomb now on their side of mid. Slight advantage, very tense action in round 6, but there's more to come.
Hooksie making noise. 34 seconds, and JKS is still flanking through A, so Hooksie tries to go alone, and now JKS will be traded. Good rotation from Big, and they're starting to get themselves in the mood here on Anubis. I think Searson there, solo holding mid, did enough on the 1-for-1, and then Big rotate a couple of riflers into that position. A really cool way to play this round. You have the advanced mid player, and then you have a couple of players who can rotate quickly. And that's the other thing about Big. You have to always be aware that this team are always coming up with new nades, always coming up with new ideas. They almost got the opener in that round, straight up from a couple of nades on towards m0NESY.
Lots of volume in the Hall of Heroes early today. Love to see it. I'm sure that will continue as these teams get the best of each other. Big opportunity for Searson there. But his team are able to fight back. And that was huge once they dropped the bomb in that position. That forced the hand of G2 and put them in a position now where they find themselves on a force by 2 Galils and some pistols. Nico has a deagle, one must note. We will see if he's able to do anything with it. They seem to be focused towards the A-bomb site right now. Again, looking forward to seeing if they go fishing for some ill-placed CTs towards B later on. Seems Hootsie will be entertaining in that respect. 3 players heavily defending the B bomb site, so perhaps there's opportunity on A. Start to see 3 players closing in now as Nico will stop and throw a grenade soon enough. JKS with the opening frag, and Tabson's going to have a lot of work to do. Crimbo and Keto lost. Well, this one's collapsed very quickly indeed. G2 didn't have much to fight with here, but look what they've done.
Oh, it's a switch up from G2. We haven't really seen them commit to that A site in these gun rounds. And I feel like Crimbo commits to a position there that's just so wide and so out in the open. It was always going to be hard for him to fall back and play for time. Once he loses that first fight, it puts Big in a really precarious position. Nice adaptation here from G2, trying something slightly different. Big not ready to deal with it. shot from Searson on the exit. That's a shame for Big because they were just starting to get into the mood. You could hear it after the previous round. And then the wind just gets taken out of your sails.
Started moving before firing the shot. I think the crosshair was on, but the accuracy was not. 3-round leads now for G2. What a way to come back. A few M4s stolen in that round. Now the awkwardness moves over to the big side, but their spread will be a little bit better than we saw from G2 in the last round. Question is, what can they do with it? They're very well equipped, in fact. The AWK coming out for Keto. Interested to see how he chooses to use that. Absent with some fast grenades. Fast grenades from both sides, actually. And Nico is Wing all the way. Great Molotovs from G2. Early issues in mid for Big. Now, how do they defend this area? Smokes are up. Look how fast it is for G2. They're going for a split of the A-bomb site immediately, and there's barely any response to be had by Big. They're in trouble. The MP9 not quite working out. Tabson will drop the bomb, but the trades are here. The numbers game being abused by G2 on the A-bomb site.
So much solid utility from G2 towards mid just gets them all that real estate. And it means that A site is incredibly vulnerable. If you can get that far up mid that quickly, it's not easy for the CTs to respond. m0NESY's had a little bit of a quiet start to the game, but not really needed in this round. It was his teammates, it was the pack players that made the difference in this one. And m0NESY will happily take an exit kill on top. This was a round where Searson was playing the B site with the AWP instead of mid. So maybe that has something to do with why that mid control was established so easily for G2. I think in future, Searson will definitely be switching up his spots. Sometimes will be playing towards mid. So that's where maybe he could have a chance to get an opening pick before all that aggression comes in. But looking pretty solid right now from G2. They've only played one official on Anubis back in December. Looks like they've done their homework, done their prep work on this map.
I think we saw double mollies in mid in that round, which will be interesting if the AWP chooses to stand and fight. There will be no backing down, forcing them to die on their sword. Smoke goes up, m0NESY now. Be hoping not to receive some more grenades coming his way.
It's the same setup from Big, but this time we get some B long aggression.
Ooh, that is a big chunk of damage on not one but two players with that HE grenade. You might see some blood as well. Now, Nico lurking there, what does that mean for the rest of the map in the eyes of Big? They have to know that their numbers that will be abused somewhere else. Tabson trying to stand and fight. He's seen the bomb, he's overperformed there. He's found two and he still has support. They have to rescue the bomb now. m0NESY's got so much to do. 3 players defending this bomb. He's looking for the first one. He did spot the second. I'm sure he saw a shoulder. How did he find more? Oh, he's going for a fast flick there, but down he goes. Nico with some nice taps, but that bomb still needs to be rescued regardless. JKS making his way into the bomb site, but he's going to have to go for a flank. And this is going to take some time.
JKS can be very good in these lurking positions, but Nico taken out on the other side. And that really limits JKS's opportunities here. Bomb firmly in Big's control. And I think JKS might realize this is too far gone. Massive round here from Tabson. He has been very involved early in this. You can see, actually, he's died in almost every round so far. But he is a really solid individual, and you've got to remember, he's the caller for Big. In-game leading for the team. Definitely a big benefit to have. That was just crispy aim, honestly. He even had Keto backing him up on mid, rotating from B, but he just didn't need it.
That was utterly crucial for Big, and with 2 men invested in the push on the B bomb site to get the information again. Nico so far back tells you that, all right, we're expecting numbers elsewhere, but he basically has to do it alone to secure those 2 frags there, and that is huge. Nico knows what opportunity they had. Definitely numbers to abuse there with that push that came in on B. Didn't work out for them though. Individual performance holding the torch for Big in that round. We see a timeout from G2, which will soon elapse. Hard for these teams to secure their economy. G2 needs to figure out what they do now in round number 10.
Yeah, I think for G2, it's maybe been a bit of a quiet start from Nico. I'm only saying that because he was so strong in the first tournament of the year. His impact was incredible. And I really think Nico can be in the running for the best player of this tournament. Simple's not been in his best form. I want to see Nico showing up here. A slightly quiet start from him, but here's CSGO again switching up his position. HooXi aware of the angle, and that's a fantastic pre-fire. And this A site is now under pressure.
They are moving in 2 versus 1 as tabseN has to do it again. Lucky to stay alive for now, forced to reposition. But how does he avoid the trade frag here? Can he find 2 again? He can! That's the bomb spotted as well. Full rotation coming in. They need to get that planted fast. 3 versus 3, plenty of util for both sides as well. Crimbo's pretty close, as is Keto. How do they clear these positions, though? Nico is on the lurk. He needs his teammates to stay alive so he can play off of them. They need to be the bait so he can clutch the round here. Crimbo and Faven trying to move together, but look how awkward these angles are for all concerned. You can see the silencer barrel. Just buy time for Nico. They're lining up for him. Take a ticket. Just one serve, but maybe m0NESY will do the rest. Faven alone now, running out of bullets. Down to the USP Hunter, disengaging, and so will he.
Nico only gets 1 on the flank, but I think m0NESY deserves a lot of credit there. He is a player who really plays ahead of his years, and you see that in that round. He knows he doesn't need to fight. He knows if he can just survive and keep those big players in that choke point, Nico's flank is going to be devastating. And even if Nico only gets 1 kill, it's enough of a distraction to cause some chaos for Big, make it really difficult for them on the retake. And again, shout out to HooXi, man. That entry, fantastic. He's having more and more impact as an individual. Got God B chatting to the team. He's already on the Hall of Heroes from back in the day when he was a player.
So glad he came back to us. It wasn't the same without him.
Such a calming presence. But you know it's when he's got to be serious with his team too.
4-round lead for G2. Very back and forth affair so far. But the lion's share of the rounds are with the T side. CSGO will be back with the AWP. Just 2 kills for him so far. Definitely being oppressed by the likes of G2. Heading towards the A-bomb side. So HooXi just about saw his arm as he was positioning in that round prior. Great peek with the Gilil afterwards. Hunter going to get some cheap information here as well. He knows tabseN's around a door somewhere. Faven having a look as well.
tabseN again positioned towards mid if this push were to come through. He's been Big's best player by far so far. It looks like G2 are keeping their options open, and they have switched it up recently. They've been starting to move towards this A site, and they've been finding that one entry that makes all the difference. You can see CSGO here in a somewhat committed position. You may have the cover, but if you get mollied, you've got to be very careful here.
Now he can reposition, take a shot and fall back. Keep an eye on the shadows here. There we go. Slight warning for him. Makes things just a little easier. He knows one's gone past, chooses to stand his ground. Down he goes. Has he done enough? Has he bought enough time? Perhaps he has. We can see Crimbo's holding an off angle. Maybe he swings with his teammates. JKS considering his options with the weaponry on the floor around him. And Crimbo avoids the molly. Do they realize it did not spread as much as they were expecting? tabseN, a hard man to frag at the moment. m0NESY, the last one to fall now. Crimbo bided his time and was able to pull the last kill through. Big surviving with 4 players, much needed as well.
Much more solid A-site hold this time round. Even if CSGO only gets a couple of kills, he also buys a good bit of time to make sure his team are in a good position. CSGO is an AWPer who I feel like plays completely alone, almost more than any other AWPer I see. Big will sometimes just send him on T side, completely by himself. He's very comfortable playing solo. which I think is a nice asset to have for Big.
Watch his demos, guys. Great AWPer to watch demos of. tabseN really has the hardest job in the server at the moment, and he has delivered time after time. Again, G2 trying to make a fast play. We've got mollies flying in from all kinds of angles. Now, what is the next move for G2? They've taken mid control. Half of it smoked off, though, and again, tabseN will be baited by Nico. The traders here, and that gives the real estate away. Crimbo's got so much to do. They're coming in from 2 angles, and he's only good for 1. Faven's quite close. Hooksy's dropped. That's huge for the map control. The bomb's not planted just yet, so there are issues here for G2. JKS holding the high grounds now. Swinging. Faven entertaining, running out of bullets, though. The transfer. Oh, no, never mind. That's -C. 1v1 now. JKS low versus CSGO with the AWP just jiggling, looking for the information. I think he's found it now. 20 HP, JKS. CSGO continues to move forward. JKS has fallen back completely. Oh, the molly might just be enough. What does JKS do? He's gone through it just in time. CSGO may have no idea. Now he knows the USP could be enough if he can find him. He's being so patient, but he's got to get back to the bomb in time. Oh, he's just about found it. He almost ran past it. Will he have the time, though? I think he will. There we go. Down to the last player.
So calm from CSGO there. I'd have definitely rushed that. But he just knows he's got enough time. He makes sure that he doesn't overextend, especially when JKS is desperately spamming that smoke. You can just sneak up on him and get that freebie. Again, not a bad call from G2. They're getting into decent post plants. But I think it was the rotate arriving from Big just in time that made an all-important difference in that round. G2 down to pistols again. Big have been pushed to the limit in a lot of these rounds, but they're just doing enough to hold on. And now they'll finally see the reward of that against this weakened buy from G2.
These fast plays up mid are really interesting. G2 definitely putting Big in a difficult situation.
Ooh.
tabseN is doing really well, all things considered in that regard. Desert Eagles for G2. See if they're able to do any damage or more. None of them have the bomb at present. But they'll be waiting around for a while now with these smokes up. Or will they? Okay, wow. Right, CSGO. Very good, very good. Just going for damage now, I think. Okay, the bomb has been collected, actually. And with all the action on B, maybe there is a timing to perhaps get a 1v1 on A.
Got to rely on JKS landing some stunning shots if they want that to happen.
Got to press QQ, keep the deagle fresh.
Saw JKS get the ace in the pistol. So he has been showing his form, but not this time. Ooh, Nico getting involved on the deeg. Said earlier, he's definitely got a damn good deeg on him. Ooh, almost another opportunity, but there's no time here. Really needs to make sure he dies so that he gets that losing bonus. And that will come through. Big recovering well right now on Anubis. Looks like this map pick has got some sauce behind it.
Just a few rounds left in this first half. We'll see who leads at halftime. The AKs are coming out for G2. All M4s for Big. We're enjoying the luxury of the AKs earlier on, but it really is a war of attrition from round to round here. Now, what kind of pace will G2 try to set with their utility? 4 smoke grenades for the 5 players. CSGO getting very cheeky indeed in the mid position now. Have a go, hero, you might say. Slight gap in the smoke as well, just inviting somebody to make a mistake. It'll be fun to see what he does in the T side as well. Yeah,
absolutely. The T side from CSGO is wild sometimes with some of the solo plays he makes. Seeing this default from G2, Nico is very often playing towards B long. And I think in a lot of the recent rounds, he hasn't been able to get as involved because of that. But in this round, it looks like G2 are grouping up in the mid round. And in the recent rounds, G2 have been loving this A site. They're going back here again, and this time, it's Crimbo with the rifle on the site. And he did have a hard time holding this previously.
He could have help soon because there are 2 players in mid. He drops the first one. They're starting to shoulder peek now. A little jiggling from G2, stuck in the choke point. And now Searson will see 3 and take 1 down. Tabson's here as well. Keto for the last one. A nice cleanup from Big. Had 2 plays in mid at the right time for the faster rotation. Saved the day on A.
Yeah, Big are keeping this mid control much more effectively now. And the site anchors have got some good utility timings. You saw there, the smoke was up. And G2, they'd already used a lot of their utility into the site. They just didn't really have the flashes into the site that made the difference. You saw Crimbo was still able to get a kill while blind, and then all those rotating players come through. Last round of the half, Big with a great chance to take the lead here against the low buy, and Searson's already got the opener. Oh,
Make it 2. Wow, this is collapsing very quickly indeed. Crimbo, that's an impressive smoke. When they really need some timing, well, they found a gap through the smoke now. They've got to commit to this. They have to